Hello, Deborah with Preservation Publications and Preservation 2012 on YouTube. Today I wanted to talk to you about salt or sodium that we all take for granted and we get plenty of in our diet, but may become scarce in days to come. I typically do not use sodium in much of my cooking. In fact, this one container of salt will typically last me about 3 years. That's because most of the foods that my family eats are processed foods, and they have tons of sodium in them. So I got to thinking, what would happen if we didn't have that sodium in our diet? So I started doing a little research because I wanted to find out where we could find it naturally in foods. So to start, let me give you a list of vegetables that have sodium in them naturally, but that you pretty much have to eat raw in order to get the sodium out of it. Those would be carrots, kale, spinach, artichokes, beet and beet greens, turnips, celery, and Swiss chard. Some of those you wouldn't want to eat raw, but you can get sodium from them nonetheless. Most of the sodium that you buy is fortified with iodine, unless of course you're purchasing salt for canning or preserving food in one way or another. Iodine can also be naturally found in foods that you eat. So as long as you're not overdoing the sodium, that you'll get the iodine you need from your backyard vegetable. Now there are some herbs that you can grow as well in your backyard garden that can be used as a salt substitute. And I want to list those off right now too. Basil, cayenne pepper, dill, fennel, ginger, mint, oregano, parsley, rosemary, sage, thyme, garlic, onion, orange peel, lemon peel, and mustard. And of course, powdered celery seed has always been used as a salt substitute. You just need a lot of it. So if you want to use any of these herbs to spice up your food, to use in lieu of sodium, you just need to dry them, thoroughly dry them, and powder them, and then add them as you would salt. Of course, if you live within a reasonable distance of a salt mine or a salt bed, then you're in pretty good shape too. So the bottom line in all this is, once we have moved through our supply of canned and processed foods, we're going to start feeling the cravings for salt. Up until then, we're going to be fine, because we consume so much salt, it's ridiculous. So, as I said, you could either use substitutes, eat vegetables that contain sodium, or stock up. It's a good idea to have a lot of this on hand, because a lot of people aren't going to think how important this is. They aren't going to realize how important this is to have on their shelf until it's gone. It's something that we buy without even thinking of it. So stock up on it for yourself and your family, and stock up on it for people around you. It's cheap. You get one of these for 35 cents. On top of all that, sodium is going to be very important if we're ever struck with any kinds of epidemics that have to do with rapid loss of water from our bodies. Salt is going to be vital in fighting those diseases, so make sure you have a good amount of it available for those purposes. Until next time, for our families, our neighbors, our friends, and our communities, preservation.